the ephemeral podcast. It's like the monks that do the paintings in the sand and they wash away. We all just get to talk to each other with headphones on, talking into a mic.
I mean,
it's happened.
It's like a silent disco, but with mics. That would be weird, wouldn't it?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I think this is our first time to attempt full video while we're on the road.
Full video.
Full video. How you doing?
How's your mama doing? Bloody hell. Yeah, it is. It is. So we have rules on this show.
All right.
We got the first one taken care of. Everybody has drinks.
Okay.
By the way, this is tasty.
Yeah. If you need to burp, please burp into the microphone. We like to judge the burps. So we will
judge
them.
How they smell, how they taste, how they sound.
I mean,
we haven't done smell yet, but we'll do anything.
I mean, let's get out that BG's, what is it? BCJP.
BJCP.
Yeah, let's get out the sheet. Yeah. That's the hardest thing to say.
I think we've only tried that twice on this show.
Tried to do some judging.
Right. That was the Pink Boots people and the two blondes.
Yeah. Yeah, we weren't judging beers that
well. No, we weren't very good.
Well, we were good at drinking them.
We were great at drinking the beers.
Like I said, if you need to burp, if you use colorful language, please do. This is not a family show. The only child that listens to the show is Nick's son. But I've already
ruined him. It's fine.
Perfect. That's fine. It's fine. Other than that, you want to hit the button?
Don't die. Don't be a dick. Have fun. Let's do this thing.
Okay.
Beers with Nigel is poured for you by Dire Oil Graphics, promotional products and design. They cover your brand bumper to bumper with graphic design, promo products, and print. See what Dire Oil Graphics can build for you at direoil.com. That's DYEROIL.com.
Smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz.
That's my dude. That's my favorite Uber driver doing that voiceover.
Smooth jazz number 2.
Yeah, smooth jazz number 2. Welcome to the show. This is Beers with Nigel. It's a show about what?
About beer and other things.
And other stuff.
Depending
on what brand you look at.
We're not very good at our branding.
Yeah. We're on the road today on a Sunday. We haven't done a Sunday one in a long time.
This is I think the first time we'll be playing a day-night doubleheader tonight.
You're right. It is a doubleheader tonight.
We're opening here at Strange Days Brewing.
Yeah.
And then tonight back in the studio for Beale Street Brewing.
Beale Street out of Memphis. We'll have them on the podcast.
Nice. Oh, nice. They in town, or are you doing that remote?
It's remote. Oh. So welcome to the show, Strange Days.
Yeah, thanks for coming down.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, so Chris Beier, one of the co-owners, started from the beginning, do all the not fun stuff, so financial, payroll, all the business stuff on the back end, and non-creative side.
And then I'm Trevor Schlam. So I'm the head brewer here, have a little bit of ownership stake. They do all the recipes, all the labeling, just everything. Everything that happens that makes beer, that keeps this place running. I'm overseeing in some way or shape or form.
So you have the fun part and he has the not fun part.
Yeah. I mean, no matter how fun it is, it's all work at the end of the day. But it's still it's better than most work.
My man is holding the mic like he's about to bust a rhyme.
I know. I watched 8 Mile before I got on this show.
He forgot his
It's just where I feel most natural is just mom spaghettiing all over the podcast.
I feel like that should be a beer name.
Oh, mom spaghetti?
Spaghetti.
Oh, yeah.
It probably already is.
You'd look that one
I'm
up.
sure it is.
If not, it's in the notebook.
Yeah. Let's talk about Strange Days. Who would like to talk about the history and how long you guys have been here and kind of give us the
I think
the overarching?
you can give the history and then we could give the modern history.
Yeah, I'll give from the beginning. So 3 of us started out. Nate, Alec, and I started doing the homebrew side after my wife and I got married, doing back in 2014. Did all the homebrew competitions and festivals. Had a great time with it. It kind of got to a point where we decided, why not just give this a shot and see what happens? So went through the e-scholars program in UMKC, got the business plan written up, went through first business, get our loan, and then we started working through locations. And John Couture, owner of Beer Stations, one of our mentors, he helped us a lot through the process. Yeah, so we any kind of beer question that we had, we talked to him. Any kind of real estate question, he hooked us up with his realtor to look at locations. We were actually looking at a spot in Waldo. at the time, and got to a point where we had to work with the architect firm to understand where all the sewer lines and everything, all the connections were. So then he had another friend who was an architect and reached out to him, and we started talking to him, and he said, there's no pressure. We can help you guys with this, but we also have this building in River Market that's just been completely empty if you guys want to take a look at it. So went down here with Icon Architecture, who's our landlords now, and looked at the building, and the history of it's great. Where this is part of the Mulebach Brewery. This was actually the large equipment storage room.
Did not know that.
So the parking lot out in front is what was the cold storage room. So we have the large equipment room. So with Mulebach, the history is they got bought out by Schlitz, and they ran it for a while and then shut down the operation. So
wow, that's a cool story.
That is a cool story.
Yeah. So opened up the door in 2018. I think we made the normal mistake like any new business where we thought we were going to be ready to be open. Made the announcement in January. Yeah. Hey, we're opening our doors next week. The regulated industries got a hold of that social media, and they really helped us out, actually. They called us that next day and said, hey, just so you're aware, you're not ready to open. You guys still have to get your neighborhood sign-off. So we quickly said, just kidding, on social media, and did some kind of just free tasting events throughout the process. But then we opened up March 4th, 2018, and started going. So we have with us, the brewery, when we started, we were heavily influenced on soccer. We're all soccer junkies, a lot of us. We're the Tottenham Hotspurs base, and then work with the Cauldron a lot, and also with Casey Curran. So
sweet,
nice. He's one of you.
Rude. That's rude. That's rude.
I'm sorry.
Soccer,
you're not British.
Soccer hater. Soccer hater. So one of the questions what we always ask is we're always interested in how you started.
Well,
how you got into
I got to
beer.
stop you.
What?
We forgot a major part of the show.
Oh, we didn't say what we're drinking.
Yeah, Junior's gonna get pissed.
Yeah.
Junior.
Yeah, we got to shout out what we're drinking.
What am I drinking here?
Yeah, that's the Mango Lambo. So that's a like a smoothie sour with a very large addition of mango, some chili, and lime juice.
Oh, it's tasty. And I love the chili at the end.
Look, when you say it like that, I bet it is. Oh, that's tasty.
Yeah, because that's like the one major thing that when you're doing a chili beer, if you don't have enough chili where it's not spicy at all, it's just super disappointing.
Yeah.
But if you have it and it's way too spicy, it's just like undrinkable, and then it turns into like this novelty beer.
Right.
So it was just like very important for us that we have something that was balanced. I was like, okay, you could taste the chili, even if you don't like spicy food.
Yeah.
It's like not going to turn you off.
Yeah.
Well, and it's really more of it's you can feel it more than you can taste it, which is nice.
Phrasing. Chris, what are you drinking?
For those of you with a sensitive throat.
So I'm drinking our 5. So this is our Saison that we aged in, I think, red wine barrels for about a year.
Oh, heard, chef, heard.
Yeah, and put some Brett yeast in it in the barrels, let it get real funky. So it's
wow.
I'm making a list.
And the Kolsch, I'm drinking the Kolsch. It's fine, but why didn't I pick that?
That's round 2.
I mean, yeah, there's something about longevity, and just if you want something cold and poundable, that's the Kolsch.
Yeah. Well,
it's the phrasing episode.
there's your title for the episode, the phrasing episode. So, what were you drinking back in the day before you discovered craft beer? And tell us what beer did you remember that kind of you were like, oh wow, this is different.
Yeah, so I think for me, drinking at a very young age with help of others of getting stuff, we would always get Boulevard Wheat or Pale Ale.
Okay.
Then you go into the college scene and you're looking at Natty Light and Coors and all that, and MGD. And then I think for us, it was getting towards the tail end of college, starting to get back into the Boulevard Wheat, starting to get into more of those Boulevard Tripels, the Saisons, the doubles that they had, and it was just really seeing those complex flavors that are different than, what you could get with a Bud Light or Miller Light or anything like that.
So you naturally kind of had a desire to do things differently, a different palate. It sounds like I can drink this shit, but really I want the other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, even to this day, like if there's a beer in front of me of like a Busch Light or something like that, I'll drink it. I mean, it's not. Don't get me wrong. I will drink that if that's all I have at the moment. There's nothing against it. But yeah, it was just going through college. Like you start to think to yourself, like, what flavors can I enjoy as I'm drinking this?
Yeah.
And then it's like the evolution of you go through the wheat and the pale ale, and then you say, all right, how can I get as much hops into a beer that I can drink as
Yeah.
much as possible?
Yeah.
And then now, how can I get the barrel-aged beers where I can drink a bottle and then I'm staying home for the night? And then now it's gone back from that to now I'm like, all right, I'm more of the Pilsner yard beers
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
lagers.
it's- everyone goes through the beer bell curve, where it's like you start out drinking light beer, you get really into high alcohol,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you go back to drinking light beer.
I do both, actually.
It just depends on what's the day call for.
I mean, I might
yeah.
go. I might
Like,
go
is this
Kolsch and get the stout at the same time. Let that warm up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
But as far as just like volume of like what you're drinking overall,
Yeah.
I mean,
true.
it'd be if you are drinking like 10% stouts every day, all day, like then yeah,
You're
more
a
power
man.
to you, right?
Look, it's
I'm a
happened.
man. I'm 40.
Yeah, but no, I never had like the cheap beer. Even when I was younger, I had like a fake ID when I was 16.
Yeah.
and I would go out and get Guinness. 'Cause
Oh,
I was
you
just
were,
like,
you were fancy.
I was like, oh man, well I'm not drinking, just shitty cheap beer. So I would do Guinness, and then when I was in college, it was all about Modelo. Where I
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
if I'm gonna, go to the liquor store and get some light beer, like it's got to be imported.
Yeah.
It's got to be fancy.
Imported from New York, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think the first time I thought I was fancy was the oil can.
The Foster's.
Foster's oil can.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's when I was like, I'm not just getting that $6 suitcase of Keystone Light.
The fun fact about the oil can, my 1,000th check-in on Untapped Picture is an oil can.
That's funny.
at Gomer's and Lee Summit. Fun fact.
No, but I my like MO in college was to grab a 6-pack of Shipyard Pumpkinhead when that was in season.
wow.
And you would get that, and then like a 32-ounce of Guinness. And I had the little black and tan pourer.
Oh, wow.
And I would just do that
Damn.
with like the one bottle of Guinness, and I would do that over the 6 beers. So I would have like 7 beers, just like hanging out, having a party at the house.
That's great.
And it was just like, what the fuck are you drinking, dude? Like this whole gradient thing. I thought it was so cool.
Have you recreated that in your adult years at all?
No,
I think you
no.
should. I think that would be a fun.
I feel like this
a
needs
fun
to be a
Tuesday,
Strange Days project.
Tuesday.
Well, so I was actually just in this spot in New York that they do a lot of lagers, and so everything was on like the slow pour.
Yeah.
And so they actually did like this black and tan of like just 2 lagers based on the density, and then the guy was like fucking around behind the bar, and he actually made like a 3-layer.
Oh.
Where he was just
Nice.
like, okay, down here is like the black lager, up here is like a Maybach, and
Yeah.
up here is like some other like I don't know, like a super light.
Yeah.
Alcohol something,
Yeah.
and then it was just like he handed it to you, and he's just like, "Don't shake it at all." It's just like I worked really hard to do this.
That's pretty cool.
If you do a slow walk back to your table,
Yeah.
don't mess it up.
You know what time it is, right?
Is it time for a little brie?
Yeah.
Lulling me to sleep over here.
Trevor said, ooh. Shout out to Bree Burrows. That's because of her. So, we do mystery beers on this show. And here is the mystery beer bag. Ooh. As you can see, it's been to a golf course a time or two. We don't know which one because the guy that he didn't give it to me. He left it at my house. Let's keep it real.
Donated to the cause.
Yeah, donate to the cause. So
He doesn't know it's missing. But
No, he does, but we don't. We want the real story, but he has not. He has refused to tell us.
Just get him on a podcast.
must be an embarrassing story.
Bro,
Though.
I've been trying for
But,
2 years to
he's
get him on here.
Denying.
Yeah, he's a slacker. It's
Just
fine.
trap him. Just next time you go to one at a brewery, be like, hey, why don't you come have beers with us over here? And then put the microphone to him, be like, now tell it.
So,
Is that microphone torture?
Yeah.
Is that legal?
Sure. It's Missouri, whatever.
Trevor, you
This
get
is
the
true.
honors.
All right.
So this we play a game. It's called Guess the ABV.
Okay.
So you can grab. There's 3 beers in there. Grab whichever one you want. You can tell us the style.
Who made it?
Who made it? But try not to look at the ABV because we want
All right,
to.
all right.
We're going to play Price is Right.
Price is Right rules.
yeah.
Closest without going over gets
Yeah.
to finish the beer.
Yeah.
$1.
So let me hold on. I'm gonna put my microphone down.
All right.
That's a great transition you guys have there. That's teamwork.
Well,
I like that.
All right, we got an outer range here.
Ooh.
A double IPA.
Okay.
So that's as much information as I'm giving you here.
Okay. You get to crack it and pour it. You can put your microphone. Oh, I love it. That's professional.
We
right
didn't have
there.
to tell him.
Professional.
He just
Yeah.
knew.
He just knew.
It was a natural.
Got to get that drop. That sound drop.
Get the pouring
It's-
also.
It's a pretty beer.
It's the Roy Hobbs of this show.
Is that going to be all equal pours, you think?
I'm coming back for him. I usually give everyone a base pour, and then I.
That's a heavy base pour. Goddamn, son. That's pretty good. Okay.
I mean,
I got
I
some.
mean,
like
this is
it.
what I do for a living, guys.
I mean, fair point. Fair point. Show off.
All about being a dick. Just got
I know.
Yeah, want to pass these around here?
So let's get a little snifter, see what's going on with this beer. Outer Range Double IPA. Is that double you said?
Yep.
Nose is good.
Mm-hmm.
let's tell her we're sorry. It's hoppy.
It's got some good notes.
Yeah,
sweet notes in that.
that's a nice beer.
Yeah.
It's very soft.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I'm
not
saying?
as hoppy as I was anticipating.
No.
Because
Yeah.
I was really like, well, I mean, Outer Range, you
Sweeter
have
than I thought.
Yeah.
you have like a specific expectation from these guys.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, there's definitely something about it where it's got this dankness and it's like citrusy, but it's not, it doesn't taste like it was, 10 pounds per barrel
Yeah.
of hops thrown on there. Like,
So let's play the feud. What do you think about the ABV?
I mean,
I think it's sneaky.
I'm saying it's on the low end of high here, right? So, and we were having this
That's a
argument
beer
about
name. The low end of high. That one's free. Take it.
And fair notice, we're really bad at this game.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we're not good at this game.
Well, like, because we were having this whole argument the other day because we were drinking these Hop Butcher double IPAs.
Oh, yeah.
That are 7.5%.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's not a double.
No.
Like 8% is double. It's always been 8%.
Yeah.
And I think there was also like a time back in the day where it's like there was no difference really between Imperial and double.
Right.
And then double became like 8 to 9, and then Imperial was 9 and up, and then
Yeah.
triple was 10 and up. But like, so I'm gonna guess this is like 7, 8.
Long story short.
Something like that. You know what I mean? But no, but I'm saying like it's got to be
7.8.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Chris, what say you?
I'm gonna say 8.2.
8.3.
9%.
Ooh, our actual.
Would you like to
retail
would
ABV?
Survey says 8%. So
Oh, damn.
right in between Chris and I here. But that falls exactly in line with what you think.
Yeah.
Double IPA, 8.0.
Yeah.
That's like
I
standard.
thought it was going to be sneaky. That's a good beer, though.
Yeah, what kind of hops that has?
I could.
Yeah, it's
I
so
could
it
drink a
says
few of those.
Wet hop, so it's Strata, and I'm assuming it's like Idaho Gem because it's called Strata Gems. So I mean, it just says Strata on here. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really funny where it just says hops in like a really small font, just
Yeah.
Strata. It's like I think you could have made that a little bit bigger.
Oh,
There's the
nice.
first burp of the show here.
Well
played.
done.
7.8. 7.8.
I was going to go 7.3.
Oh, wow. You're
I'll take it.
Fucking Russian judge over there.
Well, as that, I would have gone like 9.8.
Didn't stick the landing.
Now out. But you stumbled.
You breathed.
That was a small one.
That was almost a cry burp.
That was almost a cry
That was
burp.
almost a cry
Cry
burp.
burp.
That was like a little
What's that?
gallop burp.
It's something you tried to burp. It like, sounds like a cry. You know
A
what I'm
little
saying?
gallop.
That's from trying too hard.
Yeah, shout out to
River Bluff
the boys,
KC.
the River Bluff boys who coined the phrase
Cry burp.
Cry burp. So, Chris, back to you. How'd you get into brewing, man?
So
You obviously were liking beer as a young lad.
yeah, so I think for me it was so wife and I got married in 2014 in December, and then in January of 2014.
She was tired of you.
Oh, well, yeah, we can only imagine where that's at now. But in January 2014, I was talking to Alec, one of our other co-owners, and said, "Hey, instead of us buying beer, let's just try and make some beer for the wedding." So we took that whole year, started brewing.
You say you took the whole year.
Yeah, so we started brewing batches. So
For
the
his
first
wedding?
No, for my wedding.
Oh,
In
okay.
December,
And
yeah.
had you guys brewed before?
That was the first time we brewed. So that January, New Year's Day, 2014.
That's ballsy.
Yeah.
New Year's Day,
That's why you had to
2014.
take the whole year.
The ballsiest
Exactly.
groom's gift I've ever heard
Yeah.
of. Hi, honey, I made us beer.
Yeah. So
Yes,
we
now that we're engaged, I'm going to disappear into Alec's garage for an entire year.
Yeah.
And emerge with some sort of alcoholic product
some beer that we're not
serve you.
sure where it'll be.
Yeah.
So we did. I think our first two batches we did the wort package and all that stuff, and then finally got to the point where we said, "Hey, let's start doing all grain." So Alec lived close to the old brew lab location, and I think we were there like every other weekend, getting recipes, and we were just brewing nonstop. And then Nathan joined us probably in the summertime. He'd been brewing for 6 years prior, and we were all good friends and said, "Hey, do you just want to kind of help us out on the wedding brews?" So we did. I think it was an Oktoberfest, a coffee stout. We did a chai ale, and then we did a triple.
And y'all hadn't
triple
brewed
IPA.
before.
Yeah, we just had fun with it. Yeah.
Just started.
Well, those are the first beers you were brewing, or that was what you
No,
ended up
like
serving at the wedding?
yeah, that was what we served in the wedding. So we
what
had
was
done
the
about
first one that you brewed?
we did I think it was a Newcastle clone.
And how was it?
It was all right. Yeah, wasn't.
You drank it?
I
We
think
drank
you,
it,
You
yeah.
know, maybe
We
by
thought
that
it was all
standard,
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for your first beer, it was all right, and then I'm sure now if somebody gave you their homebrew and it tasted like that, you would be like, thank you for
good effort.
for the bubbles.
Yeah. It's one of those like you almost wish you could like freeze it.
Yeah.
And then like, 10
Yeah.
years from now,
Yeah.
try it out and be like, all right, what does this actually taste like? But so we did. We had it, put it through the wedding. Everybody, I think it was kind of one of those like everybody was having a great time in the wedding, so it went really quick. Our triple IPA got to like 12%. It like really took off on us.
As it should.
One of our
That's a quad at that point.
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's almost, yeah.
And unfortunately, one of our groomsmen, Fish, he's a good drinker. He got a couple of those triple IPAs. So coming down picture time, you could see that look on his face, and it's like, oh no, oh no.
Photoshop.
He's
You
already
gotta like that pause when you're describing your friend. He's a good drinker.
yeah. Him and you put him and Gonzo together, it's always gonna be a fun time. You just never know what's gonna happen that night.
So after brewing all this beer, was that the impetus? Like, all right, I think we could start a fucking brewery.
Yeah. I think after the wedding, I think it was more of. Everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I got my undergrad and master's at UMKC for entrepreneurship. So I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
So you were leaning that way anyway.
Yeah, I think I was kind of slowly pushing them that way. I was like, hey, we should start doing homebrew festivals, competitions.
Hey guys, let's open a bar.
Yeah.
And then just like I need to have a business. I don't, whatever it might be, someone else have a product so I can sell it.
It's either this or I'm sewing underwear. I don't know.
Yeah. You guys make the choice. So then it turned in, first year of marriage, still in Alex's garage brewing beer nonstop for all the beer festivals and all the competitions and stuff. And I think we got through that first year, and I think we had a great time at the festivals.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of one of those like, I always told Nate, I was like, it's one of those like I don't want to look when I'm like 40 or 50 and be like, I wish I would have started. It's kind of one of those like, why not try it and see what happens?
Yeah.
So
Just a sidebar to the festivals. The homebrewers in this town, man, there's some fucking really good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, even at Parkville, every year you're like, this shit, you could sell this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's amazing the amount of really good brewers are in this area. It's just, it's crazy. So.
Well, I think it's probably like there's got to be like the same equipment that's getting handed down from like brewer to brewer over time too. Mm-hmm. Where it's like I know plenty of people where it's like, oh well, this guy ended up going professional, so I took his homebrew setup and he sold it to me, and then I sold that to someone else when I went professional.
Yeah.
So it's there's probably like an accumulative like history of everyone learning from each other and doing that whole route.
Yeah. Great
And plus,
community.
everyone has garages here because people who homebrewed in New York were not good. Because when you only have like your apartment.
Well, let's talk about that. Some of your history and how you ended up here.
Oh yeah.
Maybe how you got into brewing.
Yeah. So for me, right after college, I was just like trying to get my like big boy job, like a real job that was supposed to be using my degree.
What was your major?
Math.
Perfect. I mean, that kind of helps. And you got numbers in brewing.
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah,
It's fine. It works
You
out.
gotta have those
It
nerd
works.
skills.
It checks out. Good.
Yeah.
Go
yeah.
ahead.
So I ended up, I had like 2 part-time jobs that I was juggling. One was at the world's shittiest like hip-hop recording studio. So this was all in Poughkeepsie, New York, if anyone's counting.
After math degree, I thought it was going to say like hip hop actuary.
I wish that would be more entertaining. But no, so it was either I was doing that half the time, and then I was working at like just a beer store that had a homebrew section in it. And so just working through those 2 things, trying to figure out which route I wanted to go down. And then they offered me like a full-time job at the beer store, and I was like, you know what, I could probably, snag some homebrew equipment and some ingredients at a pretty heavy discount. So
Nice.
just started doing that where I was brewing just I would just like sneak hops and I'd charge like cheaper hops for them, so I'd be like all my shit was like bittered with Galaxy, being like, oh yeah,
That's awesome. He was a hop dealer and here you go.
But yeah, so that was like 2014, right when Oh, that was
That
a good
was,
one.
that was
Yeah.
good.
It was also a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was your eyes. When you were just like,
Well, it came out in 2 parts. That first one, I was like, "Holy shit, I'm gonna die."
You released
And
the
then
demons on that one.
I really did.
Death burp.
It is Sunday, okay? Anyway,
but yeah. So that was like 2014. So for me, like in New England around that time, obviously, like up further in New England, you had like Heady Topper and Sip of Sunshine and
Sip of
Maine
Sunshine,
Beer
yes.
Co. So it was like those IPAs existed, and then this was like the birth of the true like New England IPAs.
Right,
So this was right when like Trillium, Treehouse,
Yeah.
they were harder to get, but we would get Grimm and like Tired Hands like collabs at the store, and so I was drinking that and like McKellar, and that like blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
So it was just like those IPAs were like super formative in my brewing, and that was just like the goal was make those beers at home somehow. So, and I actually, one of my first recipes that I did, I emailed the owner of Grimm, and I was like, "Yo, what are you dry hopping at, dude?" And he actually emailed me back and was
No
just like,
shit.
"Hey, yeah, on a homebrew scale, like dry hop with this amount.
Really?
This is exactly how we did this beer."
That's fucking cool.
And I was like, "Wow, that was
That's
really
awesome. That's
yeah.
a great story.
So that's why, like, if I was choosing any other industry, it was just like beer was the one where people would actually talk to you.
And talk to each other.
Yeah. So it wasn't like this whole thing of like you'd send an email out into the void and it would just get lost in a sea of all these like prompts or whatever. But no, I mean, there was a real human being on the other end.
He was like, "I'm checking the fucking emails here, goddammit."
Yeah. Yeah. So through that, I got a connection brewing for this Greenport Harbor Brewing out in Long Island. So that's like out where kind of by like the Hamptons out there, but it's like the cheaper, shittier version of the Hamptons.
Hamptons Light.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like farm and like
that's another beer
winery
name.
out there. Hamptons Light.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
you can have that one as well. Write that shit down.
But yeah, so I
Is
was
that a
there.
sour?
No, it'd have to be like one of those like wine beer hybrid things, right?
Look like a,
Or a
It's a
rosé beer.
spritzer.
Yeah.
Let's bring back the wine coolers.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, that's
We tried doing one of those, and that it was
Really?
good for like a month, and then it took a weird turn. But yeah, we did like a 9% wine cooler. But yeah, so I was there for a couple of years, and that was on like a huge system. Like they had a 30 barrel, so I was like, my first brewing job was running the centrifuge, transferring 90 barrels worth of beer at a time.
Oh shit!
Which was just like, why did you let me do that? That was insane. So yeah, I learned a lot from those guys, and then realized I couldn't live in the isolated farm country of the Hamptons Light.
Yeah.
So I moved to Brooklyn. Was working at Greenpoint Beer for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I was the head brewer there, which that was also like, why did you let me do that? Like I was 24. As
No
like the
shit.
head brewer, I was the youngest head brewer in New York at the time, and I was like, "Why? Why the
Rookie of
fuck
the year.
did I?"
Somebody's got to
how
be the
did I do
youngest,
this?
right?
Yeah,
You know,
So
like Freddie Adu and shit.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Oh, yeah.
where is he now?
Yeah, Freddie Adu. This is your life. You've been mentioned on the Beers with Nigel podcast.
Pinnacle of the career.
Pinnacle of the rest of your career. Anyway.
Yeah. So I was there for a couple years. I think that was just one of those things where I got to play around a lot, but I didn't necessarily learn the business side of things. And then after that, went
That's
over
why you got
to
Chris.
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Symbiotic relationship. There you go.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so then I hopped over to KCBC, which is like Kings County.
Yeah.
And I was
familiar.
there for a couple years up until the pandemic. And then I was like, I got to get the fuck out of New York. This is weird. And so I came out here. And that's how I got linked up with Chris here. So we.
So what made you come to Kansas City, though?
So my girlfriend that I met in New York, she is from here originally.
Oh, gotcha.
So, we had come out here once before the pandemic and just commenting on being like, everything is so big, all the spaces are so huge and spread out. And so we were like, oh, well, if, in the age of social distancing, this is like the prime spot to be because there's so much space.
Yeah.
So we were just like, went from the most cramped city probably in America to one of the most spread out. So, yeah, and then I was just kind of hopping around figuring out what I wanted to do here. And I was talking to Chris, ended up working at a City Barrel for a hot minute, working there for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Just to brew, keep my, keep it fresh.
Keep your chops. Keep
yeah,
your
exactly.
chops.
Because it was kind of weird. Like, that was the longest I had not brewed in years. Like there was 8 months or something that I was kind of unemployed, fishing around, driving for UPS.
So all you've done is brew.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Wow.
ever since, literally since I was 21. Well, technically, so my first homebrew batch was when I was 19. I had one of those Mr. Beer kits.
And hold on, where'd you get the fucking kit from?
I think somebody got it from my brother when he turned 21.
And it was left over?
Yeah.
brother
And so,
passed it down.
Dude, it was literally, I was working with probably 5-year-old cans of liquid malt extract. And it wasn't terrible, but it was not very good, I'll tell you that.
But it wasn't terrible. So
Yeah.
The malt extract really holds well.
I mean, I think we
Ages-
brewed
ages
a
well.
gallon and a half, so it wasn't a whole lot. But yeah, no, I mean, this is literally the only thing I've ever done is beer. And
You're probably the first person that we've come across that's the whole thing.
That's
right?
their career.
Yeah, that's been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I never had the whole oh man, I did the finance thing. I want to get my soul back. I'm like, no. I went straight to no. I'm not selling my soul in the first place. But I don't have any money selling my soul. That's the problem.
You know what time it is?
Is it time again?
Yeah, because I'm out of beer. Let's
Oh, well, let's let Bree sing.
Chris, it's your turn, buddy.
My turn? All
Would
right.
you like
It's
to
his turn.
Pass the
My
bag.
twin.
Twin. Try not to look at the ABV. It may be hard phrasing.
I don't know. He's digging around in that bag a lot.
All right. Four Noses Brewing. Let's see. Okay, I covered it. Mount it. Okay. We got Devious Dankster.
Oh.
Easy IPA. Okay. Hops are Galaxy. Is it Sultana?
Yep.
And Hallertau Blanc.
Hallertau Blanc.
Hallertau Blanc.
Let me holla at you. Holla, 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 holla.
Holla at the Tau Blanc.
Yeah, how has there never been a holler back or something like that?
Till now.
That's
do our-
probably good.
Write it
There
down.
probably is one.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing
open
that,
it.
I think every pun
You
that
can
has
put your
ever
mic
been
down.
conceived is a beer name.
You can put your mic down if you need to, sir.
Wow.
We can carry the conversation. I know you're.
You're good.
Oh yeah, put your glasses. That looks a lot like the last one, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It's the same beer in a different package.
Just peel the label off like it's an imposter.
We haven't played that game where we mix the labels.
We haven't
Ooh,
played
that
the
would
Beer
be-
Hunter either.
Ooh.
You know what the Beer Hunter is, right?
I do not.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
This feels dirty.
Strange Brew, the movie.
Oh, yes.
The Beer Hunter.
I forget.
So you get that one can in the 6-pack and you put
It's
it back
not
on
often
there.
you get a Strange Brew reference.
In a Strange Days.
Yeah. Whoa.
There you go, yeah.
Whoa.
Strange on Strange.
Hold on.
Welcome to the Twilight Zone.
That's on Thursday nights, right?
Oh, it looks like you got a hop chunk in there, but
Oops, sorry.
good luck on that.
Yep.
You know what?
Yeah, it
It's
happens.
chewy.
It's meaty. It's fine.
Go.
Chunk happens.
Yeah.
Chunk
So what's the-
happens.
what's the name of this
nope,
again?
I'm sorry. Yep, here we go.
Gotta hide it from something. Okay.
Here, let me
Devious
let me
Dankster?
throw this
Devious
behind me.
Dankster from Four Noses. Shout out to my dude Kent, who brought me some
Alright.
beer back.
Well, we're putting our four noses here together to try to figure out ABV.
It's got some dankness on the nose.
Little dankier.
Oh, that's super crisp
Yep.
and juicy. Different from the other one. Was that too much phrasing for you, sir?
Wow.
No, that's delicious.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Got that little hot bite at the end, you know what I'm saying? And it's very green tasting, thus the can.
Yeah.
Is this a? I'm
Full
looking at
earthy?
I'm looking at the can now. Is this a collaboration with Four Noses and Odds Brewing?
Maybe.
Odd 13 Brewing.
It may be.
Yeah,
That's
I
delicious.
can read.
That's really nice, cold and crisp, though. That's a nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice. A little snappy,
A little snappy.
snappy beer. What
Yeah,
do you think
it's
the ABV
definitely-
is on that?
I'm gonna go 7.3.
I think it's lower. I think, I don't know. We'll say 6, 7.
7 even.
You went 7.3, 7.4.
Our actual retail ABV.
Survey says.
Survey says, ding, 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 ding.
7.
7.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a rare victory.
Yeah, so you guys aren't that bad at this.
Today.
Our record says otherwise.
Yeah, it really does. That was a nice burp.
Thank you, sir.
That was,
First you win the ABV, then you get the
Yeah,
burp.
so that's maybe that was like a 7.5. I'll give you that. 7.8 maybe.
I'm out, folks. Good night.
Right.
All right. Well, now
I'll be at the bar. You
not
can
trying to
find
put
me at the
anyone
bar.
on blast here, but if you could guess the canning date, I'll give you guys a free 4-pack.
Can I just give you a month?
Yeah, go for it.
November of 22.
Okay.
The canning date on this beer.
Ooh.
It held up well. Just so.
Yeah.
everybody
You know, I'm going
knows.
to go before that then. I'm going
sorry,
to
that was weird. That was weird.
go September of 22.
Wow. Why are you trying to one up me, son?
Why would 2 up to you?
now
Chris?
you're just trying. This. God damn it.
I'm left out.
I want to burp too.
Please pick me.
Oh my God.
let me burp.
Yeah, Chris, you want to take a guess?
We go December 22.
And I already looked at it, so it was March of 22.
Whoa.
It's called a
Oh,
well-aged
yeah.
beer.
Wow.
That did hold up well. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just like,
He must have got that on a discount.
yeah, I
Please
mean,
take this
if
can.
nothing else, like the haze really held up for being a year in the can.
It's really good still. That's the magic. Sometimes people, in the industry, people are like, "Well, how long is it going to last?" Crowlers, cans.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. I mean, there's cans in 4-packs that one can just fucking dies and the rest of them are fine. You know what I'm saying? It's such a weird thing.
You're going to drink it anyway. I mean, that's usually my reply.
I mean, fair point. I mean,
if you're buying that, you're not pouring it out. You're going to drink it. So don't worry about it.
yeah. So how would you guys describe the vibe of Strange Days? Kind of give us like what the design.
Can we start with the dude painting?
or that,
Oh, yeah.
or the TVs, because that's one of y'all's things.
Yeah, so I think we'll start from the beginning and get
Sure.
to where it's at.
I mean,
then-
you don't want to start from the end. I'm just saying.
I don't know. Sometimes
I know you, Terrence.
sometimes you go from
Look,
current day
have
and
you
you
met
walk
her?
yourself back. Yeah.
Bloody hell. Shush it. Go ahead, Chris.
No, don't worry. This tap room has definitely done like I think 4 evolutions, and we're still evolving the tap room as we speak. So it first started with homemade wooden tables and chairs that we made very open. We had a lot of soccer scarves throughout, and then we had one of our owners, are good friends with Jim Bertrand, who's like the HDTV designer from Kansas City. So she came and helped us kind of do the second evolution, which gave us the Big Lebowski and the pergola and the TV look and changing up the color scheme on the walls, added some other stuff. And then I think when Trevor came in, I'll let him take it over, but it was kind of doing another kind of shift
Yeah.
to it. So
What about the name Strange Days? You got to say it like that. Strange Days.
Yeah, it's gotta sound like the movie theater like trailer guy.
Yeah.
Who's just like,
In a world.
In a world of strange days.
Starring Nicolas Cage.
Very strange.
But one of us where he was just trying to pay off debts, right? Not like one of the good Nick Cage movies.
Just trying to get out.
he opened a brewery.
Ghost Rider 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Said, what can I do with my time? So Strange Days for us, I mean, had a little bit of influence on the doors when we were kind of searching the names and figuring it out. But for us, when we opened, it was the biggest influence for us was we wanted to create a space that, no matter what shit you're going through or whoever you are, that you can come to Strange Days, keep it strange. Everybody's welcome, and it's a normal here.
Yeah.
So
Plus, you gotta put it in the context of like this was in 2018.
Yes.
when it was
Yeah,
just like
it
this
was
was
pretty
halfway through the Trump presidency at that point, and you're like, shit's weird, man. Like, and and especially like at that time, I think that was like the real first time that I've experienced where you're like, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna be.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
This is weird as fuck.
and hold your beer because 2 years later, it got real weird.
So yeah, I think that too is just like really plays into it of like there was this catalyst, and since that day, things have been really strange.
Yeah.
And it's like it kind of, in a way, the name is more just describing of like what life has turned into now, where it's not even just like, oh, like, here's a place where, if you're kind of weird and if you're different, like you can come and be accepted. It's like that, and like, dude, this is the weirdest time to be living in, I think,
Yeah.
that at least we've all seen collectively.
Yeah.
When you get a little where you're at in Kansas City's market area, you get a lot of different people.
Totally.
And a good beer community too.
Great beer.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's also like that like middle ground where it's like it's not the Crossroads, it's not North KC, it's like somewhere in between.
It's its own thing.
Yeah, where it's like
which I like.
Yeah.
You know.
Plus,
And-
it's like you get a lot of like tourists that come in through the city market, so
Yeah.
it's like you really get a lot of different people from all around the country of just like people stopping in. They know to go check out the farmers market, and then we just push them over here.
And you guys opened when? 20
March of 2018.
Okay. How big's your system?
So we've got, I think it's 2 3.5 barrel mash tuns and boil kettles, so 7-barrel system.
Okay, nice.
We have a 10-barrel brew system that's been sitting in storage since about 2019. So we had a plan for that,
Okay.
and then the world decided to turn upside down,
Right.
and that's just been sitting there. So we're still trying to. It's almost like we get a plan, we think we're ready for it, and then we're like, well, maybe we're gonna change things up a little bit, and then it just like stalls for a little bit. So
Will you have to do a lot of changes in your facility to fit that, to make that change?
Yes and no. I think the city wants us to do more changes than we want
Hey,
to.
fuck the
but,
city, man. Fuck the
but
city.
yeah, I mean, we could kind of easily plug it in and play with it, but I think just there's a lot of.
Phrasing. Phrasing. I'm sorry.
Just take your time, breathe through it.
But yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot that we can do with it. It's just a matter of like actually getting these like exhaust fans and all this, and trying to figure out like cutting giant holes in the wall and plumbing stuff out. So it's we're really just trying to look for the right timing of and that's another thing too is like this year and last year, it's like it definitely wasn't nearly as bad as like the true like pandemic years, but it's definitely been a slow comeback and slower than we all hoped. And I think that's just a collective thing
Well, and
in
what's
the
the
industry.
timing like? I mean, to switch out systems, like, are you going to be down for a certain amount of time where you're not brewing?
I mean,
What's that
most
gap like?
likely, yeah. But we've kind of found too where to much of my frustration, but in this kind of situation works is people just don't drink here in January. January just becomes like, everyone is done after
drive.
New Year's.
Yeah, it's dumb.
And they take a month off,
It's
and
dumb.
then nobody comes in.
I don't understand dry January.
I don't even know what the fuck it started. It's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know how it got so popular, and like only here it feels like, but yeah.
I mean, look, I just spent 2 months with family. I want to drink more.
and
Yeah,
cooped
so-
up in all the family's houses. You're
Right.
not going out. You're just like sitting at the house drinking, and you're like,
So Chris, what's up with the TVs?
yeah. So I think Nate kind of took that on with the branding side. So it's just kind of the same thing. Was just creating that strange look. Like what would pop for us? You
Yeah.
know, it's like that's really where it was. It was at the time when we were figuring out our business model. It was like, all right, if we decided one day we want to go distro,
Right.
what would sit on a shelf
Yeah.
and would
Pop.
stand out
Yeah,
and pop?
yeah.
And I think that's where it was,
Yeah.
like kind of creating that 70s retro TV
Yeah.
with the eyeball in the middle.
You got some badass TVs over there. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
You better hope American Pickers don't come through here because they're gonna be like, we'll give you $500 for that one on the legs with the legs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Those
are cool.
old console ones?
Oh
yeah.
God, bro. Those are cool.
Yeah, we'll just say, take the TV, but get us another fermenter, and we'll make it.
Yeah, I'd
Even
gladly,
trade.
Yeah.
I'd gladly sell those if it went to something.
Oh,
Nice.
8.2.
Thank you, sir.
That's a nice
Little
one.
extra tone change there at the end.
Was that on
A little
purpose?
pickup right there.
You almost stuck the landing.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like the the eye in the TV is definitely like that whole 1984 vibe of like
Yeah.
the thing that you stare at all day stares back at you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you turned off the TV, you'd see your own eyes reflecting back at you. And then,
I mean, those are kind of, I like those TVs, but all of them have knobs. There's not one with vice grips on it because the knob popped off.
We'll put the vice grips on the wall so you can grab them, use them if you need to.
No, that's the one that we use for our jockey box was the knobs fell off.
Should we have another mystery beer? I think we should.
We should. I now give the mic to Bree.
You want to do the honors, Nick?
Go ahead.
You're so nice.
Well, and really, it's because I got to finish the other one.
Okay, I'm putting my mic down. Talk amongst yourselves.
While he digs in there, as you said, it's the TV's. The eye looks back at you. Does the beer ever look back at you?
Sometimes, right? Where it's like, you ever have like the thing where it's like you have a little like smiley face in your beer, like in the foam?
As you stare down into the pool.
Yeah, plus actually, if you have it at the right light and the right amount of beer, we have the eye on the glass here, so that if you have it like the light shining through, the eye will actually reflect onto the top of the beer. And so you'll be able to see the eye in your beer, like looking back at you. And then when you see two of them, you should probably stop drinking.
Yeah, that's how I was almost getting to last night.
Oh, yeah, there's the chunk at the end.
Do you go for it? That's the question, right?
Why not?
Right?
Right?
You know, it's just it's all that vitamin B. Got that nice, people pay extra for brewer's yeast like that.
You can feel that. What is your favorite style to brew?
Ooh, I mean, it's very vague, but I'd say lager. Overall, like whatever lager that means.
That's an interesting way for you to even it up there.
I totally failed on the pours so bad.
Is that just because it's you got to get it right?
Yeah,
You're not hiding
anything. I think just overall, like, I think we've been playing around with a lot, and I think we always come back to it's like IPAs in general, where it's like West Coast IPAs, hazy IPAs, they're so different, and like it's really fun to kind of play around with them and how you're using the hops, because there's like a lot more ingredients and timing and everything. But lager, it's just like you got nothing to hide behind, and it just, you really get to taste the truest ingredients and like, recreate beers that have been brewed since, the 1500s, 1100s, you know what I mean? Where it's
is that your math background too, where it's like, things are exact?
Yeah, I mean, and I think, well, because, nothing's ever exact, right? It's always just this, like, vague approximation.
Are you sure you have a math degree?
Actually, yeah, it's
He fought the math all the time.
yeah.
He fought the math, and the math,
Math one.
Well, yeah, well, it's funny, too. It's like once you get to a certain point, you stop using numbers, and you just get, like, super abstract. So it's like theoretical math. It's like not even, like, usable math.
Now we're getting into the Big Lebowski of brewing.
Now you're getting to the logs.
Pete on my
formulas.
rug, man.
Yeah, it ties the room together.
So our mystery beer. This is in Beer Karma. It was delivered to me from Gotta Hold Brewing in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. If you've never been there, gotta go.
Great people, great beer.
This is shout out to Dave and Wendy. Screaming Bach, which is their Bach lager. Ooh. So
it's tasty.
that's yeah.
And a nice change after a couple of those.
Yeah.
A big deal, yeah. Nice malty nose.
While we're tasting that, I think my follow-up is what is the biggest seller? What's the Strange Days brew that people keep coming back for?
So surprisingly, Kansas City, I think because everyone drives everywhere, the average ABV that we sell is around like 5%, because you want to have people have like 3, 4, 5 beers,
right,
and then still be able to like,
stumble out of here.
Exactly. Make it home okay. With some food
Lord
and some
Jeebus
time.
invented Uber for a reason, folks.
I mean, that is true.
No, so like right now, probably the biggest seller of just going in and out that we, because we have this plan to be our new kind of flagship lager, is called Schlam's, which is.
Yeah.
So that was like our, because for me, my last name is Schlam, and it's like you combine Schlitz and Hams together.
So I have to apologize, because I remember at Parkville Beer Fest, you guys gave me the can with no label, and I was supposed to bring it, and I did not.
Oh, we still have some in the back,
Well, it would have been fun to have it, because Nick's never had it. I'd be like, what is that beer? Because there's no label on it.
So mystery beer tonight for round 2?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good one.
for the nightcap.
This is a doubleheader today. You got to hydrate.
Good lager to end the night,
Yeah. Anyway, this Bach lager. I don't think I've ever had a Bach lager.
I'm pretty sure I
it's
never
good.
have, but I really like that.
It's got a lot of character to it.
And it's I think it's a great change after those IPAs.
Yeah, definitely. It's just nice and smooth.
Yeah.
You get some actual maltiness, which is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know, it's underrated and underappreciated these days.
That's very malty. No, they do a great job. You could take that brewery and put it here, and it'd be one of the top ones right in Kansas City. But it's in Eureka Springs. You know where the Gotta Hold name comes from? Past tense, present tense, So
Who cares?
The brewer, Dave, is from New York.
Okay.
And he met Wendy, and they visited Eureka Springs, and they said it got a hold of them. So that's how they got the name.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's
Nice.
a fucking dope ass brewery.
Yeah, their
One of
story of getting out here to the
It's-
Midwest
it's
is
wild.
a
It-
crazy story, but so cool.
It's a love story.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God!
It's
a Hallmark movie.
It's a
Yeah.
rom-com. It really is. It's a rom-com.
He said it's a rom-com.
I mean, you could get a little
I
Tom
was
Hanks
going to go
action in
with
that.
you on a Lifetime movie. He said
Yeah.
rom-com.
No, it's like a little Hugh Grant, maybe.
Oh,
Some
funny.
Renee Zellweger.
That's the first Hugh Grant.
Is that another
Reference
Nicolas
on the
Cage
show.
movie?
Did he do rom-com? I'm trying to think. What's a Nick Cage rom-com?
No, just saying that it could be
I
another
mean, he
one.
did Moonlight, right?
Leaving
Or
Vegas.
not Moonlight. No, Moonstruck.
He was not in Moonlight.
Moonstruck.
Moonstruck is the one I was thinking.
I
of.
wish he
Excuse
was in
me.
Moonlight.
That would have
with
been pretty
Bruce
funny.
Willis.
Another rom-com.
ABV on this beer, you think? Anyone? Bueller?
I'm gonna say low sixes probably, low to
Yeah.
mid sixes.
I'm going to go 5.7.
I'm gonna need you need to give
I'm
an
gonna go
actual
6'1".
number.
Yeah, I'll say 6'3".
6'3".
What did I say? 5.6?
He forgot
5.7?
that quick.
5.6. I'm going to go 5.6.
5'6"?
6'1".
6'3".
Yeah.
Actual retail ABV 6'2".
Close but no cigar.
That's back-to-back victories.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to program a new button for that.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Well done.
Nah, that
That
was
carried
not
through.
great.
That was very
No,
smooth.
I
all
like
the way
that.
through,
It
yeah.
had-
That one had to come out.
That was a screaming burp right there.
It's
That
not
was,
a
that, was a,
cracker.
that was a trap
Sponsored
burp. That was
by-
like, that has to go.
I'm back, baby.
So what are you guys thinking? You talked about the style in here, and it's changed 2 or 3 evolutions. What's the next evolution? Not necessarily like the look of it, but what's the next evolution for Strange Days? You just had your 5th birthday.
Yeah, so I think I'll speak quick on the business side, but I think for us, it's, if anything, if the pandemic's shown is, before the pandemic, you had tons of businesses down here, big corporations, a lot of happy hour crowds. I think that's a lot of shifted from downtown
Yeah,
Kansas
yeah.
City. So I think our happy hour crowds has really died off than what it used to be. But for us, I think we're starting to get some of our stuff out into distro. We've really lucked out well with getting some contract beers with places around here as well. With like Tiki Taco, we do their beer. We do both Nighthawks beer.
Okay.
And then we do a Char Bar beer as well. So we have a couple contract beers that we're working on, trying to get key accounts. We have Schlam's, which is our flagship lager. We brought back Channel Surfing as our flagship hazy IPA. So we're starting to get that stuff out. I think it's more of how do we get our product back out into the market to remind people that we're open to come back down to where it was. I think that's where the pandemic was, where everybody got comfortable where they were in their house or apartment.
You
or
didn't
where
have to
they're
go
living.
anywhere to get the shit, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like happy hour crowds are different, right? Happy hour crowds are now, I'm leaving my home office and going out to get a drink.
Yeah.
And not we're just walking down, we're walking a few blocks from our office tower.
Exactly.
But even then, it's like you're still doing that just by yourself. It's like rare that you have like multiple, or I mean, it's not rare, but like there are like some groups of people specifically that'll come in and do like happy hour and then finish up their work day here. But no, I would say like probably for us, like the biggest 2, next phase items are like more beers into distribution and then more food here.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's another thing too.
That's
is
a game
like,
changer.
Is because people here, and like after the pandemic especially, is like you drink and you eat at the same time.
Yeah.
Like people rarely go out just to drink anymore.
They wanna
It's
eat,
all
yeah.
about, they want to have a
even
couple
if-
beers and some food and then have more beers and more food.
Even
like,
if you show up at a place and you're drinking beer and you see some snacky shit, now you're like, I think I might be hungry. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, to your point, that's
And you stay longer.
oh, absolutely,
exactly.
I think, we've seen that at several breweries, right? That's a game changer.
Yeah,
But it's even just to, not even to get people, to stay here longer. It's more of just to get people into the brewery at all. Being like, because there's always this excuse of being like, oh, well, I'm not just going to go drink to drink because like the pandemic ruined
Why
that.
not?
And they're
I
like,
don't understand that.
Why not?
That does not compute.
Man, I like beer.
yeah. But everyone's just like, well, I could just drink at home if I'm just drinking.
That's terrible.
but
Who are
it's
these
like,
people?
Yeah.
I want to meet these people.
And then bring them out to the breweries.
We should just create an event. Do you like to drink at home?
Yeah.
Come on down to the brewery. We'll tell you how to
It's
drink
like
at
a
home.
speed dating with yourself.
Come meet people.
Come
I
meet
mean,
your-
there are times for home drinking, but I'd rather go out.
very rarely. At
I
my
mean, it
house.
just depends on how willing you are to put on pants. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
really,
very-
I could
the
drink at
biggest-
home with no
That's a fair
pants
point.
on.
That's a
The
fair
biggest
point.
lesson
That's
of the
not bad.
pandemic, right, is how much do you need pants in your life?
Yeah, it's the pants-demic.
They got a
From the pandemic to the pandemic. Now we're dealing with the
There's,
pandemic. Great.
there's your next beer.
You know,
That's a dank one, by the way.
I've got this question on my mind because you know, you guys are on the. After you explained the Strange Days name, why is there not a Strange Fringe like mashup
Oh.
and call it Strange Fringe and have it both places?
A little cuvee.
Yeah.
Or like Fringe Days.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
a very good question. We
Yeah.
always see them at like the festivals and
Yeah, you should tell. I think the vibe would be good.
Fringe Days.
Yeah, or you know, Strange Fringe. I mean that
Yeah.
itself.
At the
that
very
itself.
at the very least, a cuvee, if not a collab.
I'm thinking collab. Because you know, Strange Fringe. That emotes a lot of like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Have a whole campaign around it. Coming soon, the Strange Fringe.
Yeah, I mean, you know. That's a real
That was a really
period
good
on that
burp.
one.
That was a good one.
Was that yours?
No.
Was that yours?
That was me.
Holy shit, Bob.
Yeah,
That
but
was
you know
like
what?
a-
It was
that
the
was-
it was the
Mangoes,
chili at the end.
smoothie.
Oh, yeah.
It was the,
Chili at the end.
You got to rate the burp, right? We got to, got to tasting notes on the burp.
all right, we're gonna pause for a second because that's not a pet. That's in your peer group.
Oh, that
That's
dog.
an awesome dog.
I mean,
Yeah.
that dog is beautiful, but seriously that's a member of your peer group.
A great period.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that,
huge.
that probably weighs more than some adults.
Absolutely, probably yes.
So no, I think for us too with the brewery, just kind of changing things up. Like we're always like modifying the look too. Is like we've got the patio that we just kind of reopened up. I think right now we just have some barricades around it, keep it simple. Allows us to move food trucks in and out like we have right now. But we're gonna kind of add a lot more of like plants, a little bit more of like that kind of look to freshen things up, make it look a bit more where it needs to be. We've been constantly bouncing ideas off with our landlord of like how do we take our current location that has a big parking lot and make something more permanent that can bring people down on events or festivals or concerts or stuff like that.
Yeah. Do people complain about the parking?
So
Uh,
I mean, some, but like not that much.
I'm curious
Not
because
as
we
much
live in
as
the
you expect.
suburbs, right?
So let's put it this way. So it's one of those, and we've been talking to our councilmen every once in a while about it, but I think they it's one of those like they talk to us, but they're looking past us instead of talking to us. We got through the pandemic and we were starting to work out great, and then which is all long-term great. They're like, hey, let's shut down I-35 on the west side so we can fix that.
Right.
And while we have I-35 shut down, let's go ahead and start adding paid parking in River Market.
Yeah.
So that way, because
Yeah.
we were talking to them, we're like, well, we don't see any difference. It's always busy down here. And they kind of told us like, well, people are just parking here for 8 hours and walking around. It's like, yeah, but now you're telling people they got to pay $5-10 to park down here all day.
Right.
You know, and they're saying it brings a lot of rotation over, but I think that also it's like we're battling those
I
things.
mean,
as
no,
we
I would
kinda
just go
walk
put
through.
more money in the meter.
Yeah.
Right.
If I'm
Well, that's it.
staying.
Yeah. And if you can find an actual parking spot.
Well, heard. I mean, we did. I mean,
But yeah, I mean, today isn't so bad.
well,
but
it's a Sunday.
just, yeah. It's
We
like
got
Saturday
we got
afternoon.
here before
man.
church let out.
Yeah, that's right. But no, we're like River Market's like the redheaded stepchild of the Crossroads, where it's just like that's where all the actual money goes, and then whatever's left over, they either try to squeeze out more money from us to put down in the Crossroads,
Yeah.
or
I
they're
consider it
just
two
like,
different areas, though. I don't really think of Crossroads.
They're total
being-
different vibes.
Of course, but they're different vibes. But I mean, like as far as the city is concerned, like they don't really spend a lot of money on River
Okay,
Market.
so it's,
in the
it's,
same way.
to the city, it's the same district.
Yeah, or
It's
at
all
least
part
it's
of-
because it's all considered Kansas City, like downtown Kansas City. We're all
Gotcha.
connected by the
Yeah,
streetcar.
yeah.
But it's like they're talking about putting a brand new huge park over the highway down over by like Truman,
Right. Yeah.
down there, and you're just like, well, you're not putting that money into River Market. Of course you're not, because everyone's in Crossroads and all the businesses are. So it's just like we do what we can up here, but yeah, parking is definitely it's a contentious conversation for sure.
I mean, for those who think there's no parking here, every time I've got here, I've parked close. So either I've got a great parking ferry, or I come at the right times.
Well, it's
Yeah, I
a
mean-
reward for it's beer karma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there parking karma?
And I think it's all look, all that karma's tied together.
Is it? Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Parking karma and beer karma. Just
Well, when you're bringing beer to somebody, the beer and parking gods come together, and they're just like, get him a spot.
See,
that-
it all
you know
comes
what?
down to beer karma.
I give away a lot of beer.
Yeah, see, that's the key.
But
So
I
your
also
parking
feel like
karma's up.
all you got to do is look, and you'll find a parking space. Plus,
All you got to do is
Yeah,
look.
you got to look for 20 minutes, but you got to look.
but also,
That's
if
the
you
worst
come to-
analogy ever.
No, if
All
you come to
gotta
a
do
place
is
like
look.
this and expect to not walk,
How you
that's
gonna
just silly, right?
Hey,
I
Nick,
mean-
how are you going to find a parking place if you don't look? Let's talk about that.
That's very true.
Or it's like love, where the second you stop looking for the parking spot, it shows. All of a sudden, the
All the
parking
parking
spot shows
spots open
itself
up.
to you.
Like,
Yeah.
you just start singing a little Air Supply and then all out of love.
yeah. I'm not here looking for a parking spot. Oh, look at all these parking spots.
Yeah, it just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, I will say.
I don't understand people who go to districts like this and they're, I don't want to walk. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because no one wants to walk. I think that's a. That's
I don't mind walking.
Like, I'm an old fat man. It's fine. Walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say though too is the one thing the city has done really well to keep things moving is that streetcar. So if you can't find parking here, just go
Park someplace else.
park in Crossroads. Go see
on that
all of
free
our
streetcar.
Go see all of our friends in the Crossroads and then take the
I've
streetcar
never ridden
down.
a streetcar.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Never.
I actually haven't either.
Have you ridden it?
No.
I've been here for
And I lived in New Orleans and never rode the fucking streetcar there, like a dummy.
We should do a podcast on the streetcar.
Yeah, just sit on the streetcar and have people hop in and out.
Just talk to random different
Yeah.
people. It's like cash cab, but no cash.
Yes.
At least you didn't say taxi cab
And then we'll have
confessions.
beers on the
There you
streetcar.
go. We're gonna have a jockey box on
A mystery beer. Every person that sits down and talks to you guys on the podcast.
That's actually
I
brilliant.
love this idea.
Well, no, you just have different breweries
And,
like hop on that are all off the streetcar,
Yeah.
and you just kind of pop in, and be like, "Oh, hey guys, let me bring some of my beer
Next
to
up,
you."
on your right,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like this is gonna be part of the TV show.
it's a whole new marketing campaign we're going to pitch to the city.
You guys are gonna love this.
yeah. Then you'll get
We have this
the
great idea.
Wait
Are
till
you
say
ready?
this, dumbass.
get the podcast logo on the wrap for the train as it's going through.
Yeah, he's talking about the dream now.
Yeah, but I'd love to put a wrap on one of those fucking cars.
It'll
That'd
be like
amazing.
it'll be like the South Park Underpant Gnomes business concept. Just pitch it to Mayor Lucas. You have that one thing that's just left unopened. And you're just like, in step 4, we make money.
Mayor Q, we got an idea.
All right, boys, let's wrap this up. Let's talk about where you can find Strange Days on the socials.
On social media, I think it's pretty much Strange Days Beer for everything, right? So
Okay.
it's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
You're on the tweeter, good.
I mean, I don't think anyone actually does anything on Twitter anymore, but or at least for us. I mean, people still have
you know
their own.
what? When we post this, I will definitely tag you on Twitter.
Nigel is still
appreciate
a Twitter evangelist.
I'm on
Oh,
beer.
yeah.
No, I'm beer Twitter. That's all in my feed. It's just all beer all the time.
I mean, that's the healthiest Twitter I think there is out there.
Yes.
Because
But
there's
it
a
is-
lot of parts of Twitter, most of Twitter, that is not like that.
But it takes serious effort to cull your feed down to just one thing.
It depends who you follow. I follow beer people.
And that's it.
I don't follow fucking politicians, bro.
For the best.
Beer Musk. Beer Musk.
Beer Musk.
Is that
Is that a beer name or is that or
No,
or is
that
that
sounds
just
like his new
Elon,
cologne line.
Yeah.
Elon's incognito cologne?
Yeah. Beer Musk. We'll have his
the beer.
the Beer Must by Trevor.
coming
What
this
yeast
fall.
are you using for that musk?
Oh, hey, it's a family show.
No, no, it's not.
As we're talking about strange fringe and
Fringe yeast. You guys need to start a yeast company. I'm just
bow
saying.
chicka bow wow.
Has anybody done brown chicken, brown cow beer?
Yes, because I looked it up the other day. Because, long story short, we've got this video that Connor, shout out to Connor at Transparent. He was I needed a video of him pouring a beer, and he pours. He says, "Bow, baka, down, baka, down." So I turned it into a video, and I found some porn music.
Oh God!
And when we dropped the beer on Friday, there's this video of him doing that, and his voice is looped throughout the porn music. It's like a 10-second clip. It's stupid.
What are your keywords when you're searching, free music for porn music?
Pretty sure exactly that.
Is it just porn music?
Whitehouse.com.
And let's keep it real.
Is this still a thing?
I don't
Nolan
know.
was like, "What happened when you Googled it?" I said the first 3 was like porn sites, and then the 4th one was cheesy porn music.
There you
At
go.
Nice.
.com.
Yeah, well, definitely
.com.
don't
Shout out
search
to
up
them.
cheesy porn anything.
That sounds too close to cheesy corn.
Jack Stack would not like that message.
That's the off-menu cheesy corn.
Jack Stack After Dark.
We love you, Jack Stack. Sorry.
Bloody fucking hell.
Also, cheesy corn sales go through the roof for them. Like, we have no idea why people keep buying cheesy corn at 10 p.m.
2 girls, 1 pint of cheesy corn.
Oh, good Lord. What the fuck?
I'm going to have another barrel-aged Saison.
Did we cover the socials for you guys?
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think that'll do it. Yeah, you know,
Got a
obviously Untapped.
Yeah,
you know,
Untapped.
Strange Days. That's just search
What
search
days
the brewery
what days do you open?
So we're open every day but Tuesday. So that's I guess you could call that Tuesday or Wednesday through Monday.
Yeah. That's like
That's
diet.
more confusing.
Absolutely. Where can they find us, Nick?
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast apps. You can follow Beers with Nigel on the Twitter, obviously,
Twitter,
the Instagrams,
Insta,
and the Book of Faces.
all the books and the faces.
All the Books of Faces. There's like 4 of them.
And
I think-
now on various adult websites.
Cheesy corn after dark.
AKA cheesy porn.
You know, I got nothing to add on that. So if that's the case,
You've been listening to Beers with Nigel, a show about beer and other stuff, hosted by Nigel Woodbury and that other guy, Nick Parker. Beers with Nigel is poured for you by Dire Oil Graphics, providing bumper-to-bumper graphic design, promo products, and print services. Find them at direoil.com. Beers with Nigel is a proud member of the Fredcast Network and is available on all of your favorite podcast flavors. Find Beers with Nigel on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and ask Alexa to play the Beers with Nigel podcast.